Is having an eating disorder a sin? Before we answer, let's pause and acknowledge where this question comes from. It's not merely a theological question, but often stems from deep feelings of guilt, shame, self-loathing, and fear. For those struggling with an eating disorder, this question may not just be about what's right and what's wrong. It may be about seeking validation for a belief that you are somehow unworthy of nourishment, or a desire for confirmation that suffering is deserved. It may stem from the crushing fear that God is disappointed in you, or even punishing you. Eating disorders are incredibly complex and touch every part of a person's life. They're not a simple choice, and they're not a moral failing. Yet, shame and guilt can make you believe otherwise. The Bible tells us that sin separates us from God, but it also makes a crucial distinction that temptation is not sin. Jesus himself was tempted, yet he was without sin. Struggling with an eating disorder, feeling its pull, is not a sin. But what about giving into it? James 4:17 tells us that knowing the right thing and not doing it, it is a sin. But let's be clear, this applies to every human in countless ways, every day. That's why Jesus came. No one chooses an eating disorder with full knowledge of its grip. It often starts with something small, a moment of control and chaos. By the time someone realizes what's happening, the disorder has already taken hold. This isn't sin, it's suffering. It's an illness. And Jesus doesn't turn away from the suffering. He runs toward it. Jesus' death on the cross covered every sin, past, present, and future. He cried out, "It is finished." That means there is no punishment left for you. God is not waiting to condemn you. He's not disappointed in you. He calls you his beloved child. So, is having an eating disorder a sin? No. And even if it were, it wouldn't change God's love for you. You are not beyond his grace. You are not alone. You are deeply loved.